My Uber horror story. I live out in a small town, but don't drive. Earlier this year I worked in the next town over at a fast food place. During spring and summer, I could ride my e-bike to and from. During winter though I'd take the bus to work, and take an Uber home. When I'd need an Uber, because it's a smaller town, about 20k ppl, there aren't many drivers at midnight when I get off work, so I'd book before I start my shift. 10 to 11 hours before pickup, worked like a charm and was never left stranded, even in blizzard conditions. Drivers would still show up, until one day my driver didn't. Did it the same as always, booked before I went on shift, saw that a driver accepted the ride on my first break, and thought nothing of it. Midnight rolls around, everything is shut down, turned off, Eve got all my stuff, so I close the door and call the number to let them know to turn the alarm on, walk around to the front, and my ride isn't there, check my phone, driver cancelled, and I knew I wouldn't get another this late at night, and I can't afford a taxi until the auth clears or I get paid at 6 a.m., and my phone is dying very quickly. This was the oh crap moment. It was the coldest day of the year with feels like temps around minus 52 degrees Celsius with wind gusts up to 70 kilometers per hour off the lake, cold enough to give exposed skin frostbite in a few minutes, and I wasn't expecting to be out in that for more than a few minutes, as to say I was not dressed to be outside very long. All I had was a winter hat, my fast food uniform, a sweater, a jacket, a thin neck cover I used as a mask and non-insulated cowboy boots, and all I could do to keep out of the wind was to tuck up against a wall. My phone didn't last long and I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone, so I decided I'd try to walk to the fire station and try to take shelter or get help or something there, but only made it a block before I turned back because of the wind. Stood in front of the restaurant doing jumping jacks and pacing to try and stay warm, then decided I'd walk with the wind to the bus stop that has a heated shelter and is in front of a Tim Hortons that opens at 4 a.m. I figured it was around 1 a.m. at this point. 3 hours in a heated shelter seemed doable, then I can go inside and wait for the first bus back home at 6 a.m. Walked and made it over to the bus stop, went inside, turned the heater on, and that did absolutely nothing to help. I was still pacing around, doing jumping jacks, just anything to stay moving and stay warm, but it was super drafty, so after a while just before 3 a.m. I couldn't feel my hands or feet and was violently shivering. So I decided to use the emergency bit of battery on my phone to call 911, wasn't able to say anything after the dispatcher picked up before my phone died again, but they got my GPS ping and 2 cops showed up and got me in the car, brought me to the paramedic station to get checked out, and they just told me to take a long room temperature bath, and the cops drove me home. I understand it's not Uber's fault that the driver cancelled, but that's still their contractor, and knowing that he didn't so much as get a talking to after that annoys me. It's not even like the weather was bad, it wasn't snowing, the roads were clear, it was just extremely cold and windy. If you can't do the ride or do want the ride, don't accept it. Just to add insult to injury, Uber tried to refund me with Uber credit, even after explaining to them what happened and asking for my money back in Canadian dollars, not Uber credits. They still screwed me around and tried to get me to accept the credits, while knowing full well what happened. I did eventually get my real money back, I just don't appreciate being screwed around on a good day, never mind after dealing with that pile of poo.